Hello there, and thanks for keeping a date with me on the program Environment Watch on Independent Television. Today on the program, our focus is on access to water, the challenges and the prospect. It's on record that 70% of the Earth's surface is made up of water. However, this water is not readily available for human consumption. So today on the program, we x-ray these challenges and how we can find a lasting solution for water availability. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun, your host on the program. As a curtain raiser, we'll join the new segment and I'll be right back. Stay with me.
Thanks for joining us on the new segment of Environment Watch. A midnight fire has razed a section of the famous Urukpota Hall in Benin City, the Edo State capital. Urukpota's Gate Hall was first built during the reign of Oba Ozoloa in the 15th century. It was reconstructed in 1906 and used for the coronation activities of a new Oba. It is at the Urukpota Hall that a new Oba is first unveiled to the people and his chosen name made known. The fire was said to have been put out by combined efforts of Ugbe community.
I heard somebody's voice. We were shouting, Urukpota is on fire, Urukpota is on fire. I said, Urukpota is on fire. I said, okay, let me just go and see what happened. So I ran out from the room. And when I got to the scene, I saw it was really on fire. We started trying our best to make sure we put up the fire.
Some persons from the community from Ogbe, the council chairman, Mr. Jenkins Osunde, was here all through. Chief Courage, the Nobari of Benin Kingdom, to the Oba. And they were already here, mobilizing and getting water. And the DPO was here with OMOL, and before you know it, the state government was able to mobilize 1 or 2 fire service. They came here and the fire was put off.
In a related development, over 20 industrial sawmill machines and furniture worth millions of naira were destroyed by fire at a sawmill along Ohora Road in Benin City. The cause of the inferno is yet to be ascertained.
I was at home, somebody's friend called me that my son is burning. Getting to this place and I find out everything gone down. The thing that I labor for, all my machines, a generator, basalt machine and sewing machine, and I got everything gone down. Beloved, I'm begging the state government and the legislature, anyone that can help me, anyone that can help me, any area that you can assist help. And I have a family, I have three children, those that can render help. Wherever you are, know you are seeing me now, I'm begging for your aid. Come to my aid, our aid. Don't let me here, our brothers here also, nothing happened to.
At the house, when my friend come and say fire, I enter my store. Getting here now, everything gone down. Nowhere to start from. No papa, I get mother, but everything's rough now. Nowhere to start from. I want to plead to the state government, local government, the chairman, everybody, so that they should help us.
I have up to about 6 machines that got burnt. I want to talk about the doors that I have there. It's more than 60 doors. Some belongs to me, some are for customers. I have woods, and in fact, I can't explain. Before I came, sympathizers were saying they were calling fire service, but to no avail. They said there's no water, there's no vehicle. I don't understand.
To get a fire truck is a huge task and it's expensive. So for us, with the little resources that we have, that's not possible. I think what we do, like what you have told our market people, is that we should have fire extinguishers, and we also have some already now that we have set aside to distribute among the markets.
In the meantime, more facts emerged on Sunday how a gas explosion killed the chairman of the Nigerian Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Simon Malam, and 5 others at Sabon Tasha area of Kaduna Metropolis. The Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, said the gas vending shop where the explosion occurred was illegal, adding that it used wrong and expired cylinders to do business. Professor Malam, who according to a source close to the family had just returned from the United States of America on an official tour, was at Sabon Tasha to have a haircut close to the gas shop when the incident happened. The explosion occurred due to a phone call received by the customer who was buying the gas. The DPR, during a visit to the scene on Sunday afternoon, declared the gas decanting outlet as illegal, saying the operator used wrong and expired cylinders. The Zonal Operation Controller, Kaduna Zone of DPR, Yisa Tafida, who led officials of the agency during the visit, said that the department was set to dislodge illegal gas facilities and prosecute perpetrators. Tafida, while condoling with victims of the gas explosion, lamented that the gas retailer operated illegally without even Category D license. He urged investors, gas plant operators and gas retailers to obtain the required license that would ensure safe handling of gas to avoid such accidents. He said DPR had carried out trainings, monitorings of LPG outlets and had warned the public not to patronize illegal operators. Tafida added that such illegal operators have been cautioned to follow the laid-down rules and regulations to ensure safe handling of gas, considering its volatility. Meanwhile, Kaduna State Deputy Governor Hadiza Sabua Balarabe has visited the scene of the explosion. The Deputy Governor, in company of Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs Samuel Aruwan and other government officials, also visited victims at the General Hospital Sabon Tasha, St. Gerald Hospital and Barao Diko Teaching Hospital in the Kaduna metropolis, although some of the victims have since been treated and discharged. Meanwhile, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mr. Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed shock and sadness over the gas explosion incident in Sabon Tasha, Kaduna State. The incident, which occurred at a gas shop, claimed the lives of several people, including the chairman and chief executive officer of the Nigeria Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Simon Malam, and destroyed properties worth millions of naira. While expressing sadness over the incident, Mr. Gbajabiamila sympathized with the Kaduna State government, the survivors, and the families of those that died during the explosion. He also prayed for the repose of the souls of those that lost their lives to the explosion. And now to the foreign scene. The Australian bush fires, which started last year, has continued in the new year unabated, with several lives and property worth millions of dollars destroyed. According to the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, about 2,700 firefighters are tackling the blaze. A total of 146 fires are burning across the state, with 65 uncontained. 21 people have been confirmed dead so far, while about 2,500 properties destroyed in the inferno. And that's it on the news segment of Environment Watch. The rest of the program continues with yours sincerely in a moment. Stay with us.
According to the Sustainable Development Goals target in the year 2030, access to water has been pegged at 100%. But in Nigeria, it hovers around 69%. What are the factors, what are the challenges, what are the issues militating against the access to potable water in Nigeria? And what can be done to remedy these challenges? Nigeria is blessed with abundant surface and groundwater resources, about 333 billion cubic meters of surface water and about 156 billion cubic meters of groundwater, which can be harnessed to adequately meet the current water demand for domestic consumption and other developmental needs. About 260 dams have been constructed across the country, and about 33 billion cubic meters of bulk water in the dam reservoirs for multi-purposes, which include water supply, sanitation, irrigation, hydropower generation, and others. However, despite the efforts of the government to improve potable water supply to all Nigerians, the national access to water supply is only about 69%, which is below the Sustainable Development Goals SDG target of 100% by year 2030. A number of factors have been adduced for the shrinking of access to water, notably climate change and global warming.
That is clear. There's no doubt about that the climate change is affecting water resources. But it is affecting in a negative way in some places. Some places they have some advantage. The only thing is that do we harness those advantages? Like the incessant flooding that we are having now, we see it as a problem. Because of the climate change, some areas that don't have heavy rain before are now having more heavy rain. But what are we doing with this excess water? So the excess water constitutes nuisance and as a flooding causing damages. But if there are proper planning and water resources management, there's a way we can harness this water and use it to recharge the groundwater and buffer future supply. So all those things, government need to involve science. They need to involve professional, proper planning, proper execution in doing all these things. So of course there is no doubt climate change is affecting water resources, especially the coastal community are affected. With the climate change, the sea level is going to rise. Because what is driving climate change? Global warming. When the global warming is happening, snow will melt, ice cap will melt, sea level will rise, more rainfall will occur, sea level will rise. The coastal community are even more in danger. Apart from the fact that in the north extreme, you might have the incidence of a drought. But the coastal community are also more in danger. Even the fresh coastal water resources can be polluted by the sea level rise, then the salt water will come in. And you have ordinarily well that you are having fresh water before becoming salty. So those are the impact that we could expect from climate change. I think the government needs to do more in terms of climate change protection to ameliorate the impact. So definitely it is obvious the climate change is affecting the quality of the water resources and the quantity in some area. In some area it's affecting the quality. In some area the quantity when we have dropped. But where you have flooding, then you have contamination. So the quality is affected. In the north where you have drought, as a result of climate change, the quantity is affected.
The occurrence of water anywhere in the world is controlled by what we call the hydroclimatological factors that operate in every environment, like the climate, like the hydrology, like the geology, the soil type, the soil situation. So all these are factors that affect the availability or otherwise of water. In some places you have water everywhere and none to drink. Like in the Niger Delta area, where there's so much water, but unfortunately the chemistry of the water makes it unaccessible, not directly accessible, except with treatment. And treatment can be quite expensive. So water can be said not to be easily available. You may see it, maybe water everywhere, but there may be none to drink.
Current efforts to boost water supply and water access is yielding positive results, which can be improved upon in some major dams, like the Garara Dam, supplying Kaduna State and the FCT, Goronyo Dam, Sokoto State, Galma Dam, Kaduna State, Bakolori Dam in Zamfara State, Chalawa Dam, Kano State, Alo Dam, Borno State, Kiri Dam, Adamawa State, and Oya Dam in Ogun State. The spread of these projects seems lopsided, but it is expected to boost the country's chances of meeting SDG 6.1 by 2030.
This opportunity to call on the private sector to support the ministry in the area of water supply, to increase access to water supply. And he also used this opportunity to call on the state governments to take advantage of the water we have impounded in our reservoirs, in our dams in the country. A number of them have not been put to maximum use. He's calling on them to partner with the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to undertake the downstream development of the dams to ensure that they treat the water and reticulate and supply to the citizenry.
The story of poor access to water and its attendant problems is also very prevalent in Edo State, where boreholes remains the mainstay for water supply in spite of its environmental and health hazards. The construction of most of these private boreholes does not meet the standards of water well construction and have also become pollution pathways to the rich groundwater aquifer systems.
Jakarta is a collapsing city. You may not know, because of proliferation of boreholes. So much boreholes are being drilled in this city, Benin City, and the aquifer is being pressured right now. The aquifer is under constraint. In fact, my research and my PhD was on the vulnerability of Benin City aquifer. how vulnerable it is to contamination and to the use. How can Benin City bear with the growing population? How can the water be sustained? Or is the water sustainable? Is it enough? What are the aquifers in Benin? I have deciphered them. And this, your question, is so timely. Because right now there is no control. Benin City is dwelling on the first aquifer. And almost every household, every compound has a borehole.
Man must source for water, must meet that need. And from creation, you discover that development was always controlled by water source. That's why you have most communities, you find them by streams, by rivers, and whatever. And where there are no rivers, no streams, man developed the act of well digging. So man must source for water. Now, this challenge of the so-called proliferation of boreholes is because every household wants to meet their water need. And the cheapest possible source is underground water. If government had fulfilled their own purpose of giving every household their water need, nobody will need to go and invest so much money in sinking a borehole. The problem is not in the number of boreholes. The problem is the unprofessional practice of those involved in it. If the water is abstracted professionally and with integrity and character of the underground water maintained, you have no problem.
It is heartwarming, however, to note that several regional water supply schemes within Benin City and environs are now gradually receiving some attention. They include Esige Headworks, Iyaro Headworks, Ikpoba Hill, Oriokba, Andrew Wilson, Ezoti Headworks, Ubowo, Ogba Headworks, School of Health Headworks, Ambiko, Origbini Housing Headworks, Ebotubu, Ugbalu Water Supply Scheme, Iyagun Water Supply Scheme, Ojirami Dam, and Ikpoba River Dam, which was constructed and commissioned in 1980 against the advice of a hydrologist, Professor G.E. Oteze. And today, the dam is a complete shadow of itself as it is heavily silted up and has not delivered a single drop of water in the last 14 years or more. However, this has led to the declaration of state of emergency on access to water in Edo State.
Now that we have sufficiently done remarkable things in the small town areas, in the villages, where we don't have this proliferation of boreholes, where people don't have money to drill individual boreholes, now we are coming to the mainstream now. As a commissioner, he has given me a task and a responsibility to come up with a feasibility study of all the major regional water scheme, the Iyaro water scheme, the Sakwoba, the Adesogbe, all the various schemes like that. We are going to reactivate them, reticulate them. When we do that, then people will find out that it is very disadvantageous even to begin to think of seeking private borehole in their houses that are not even safe, because by then government would have been able to provide them with a very sophisticated, portable and accessible water.
We have been emphasizing on this issue of access to safe water, not only in the rural areas and small towns, also in the urban center, because you will know that this time around there is no sufficient water supply, especially accessible from the government supply, and it has been on individual basis. And not everyone within the urban is able to drill individual boreholes in order to get this safe water supply. But for the rural areas, a lot has been done so far, particularly from the donor agencies, the EU and the UNICEF. They combined, especially in the last 5 years in the Niger Delta region, and a lot has been done up to the close of that contract this last month. Internal completion is being on as well. and a lot of rural communities has been impacted.
In 2019, a startling revelation of poor access to water in Nigeria, especially in the rural areas, came to the fore, with the country being ranked the #1 nation in open defecation in the world.
Right now, Nigeria is #1 in the world for open defecation and is not an enviable position at all. So he also used this opportunity to advocate for improved latrines and improvement in hygiene and sanitation in the country.
Only 14 local government areas in Nigeria have been certified open defecation free, while India was declared open defecation free. What can be done to improve access to quality water in order to meet the SDG goals target of 100% by 2030 and make Nigeria open defecation free by the year 2025? Some experts speak.
In this era of climate change, and in this era where we are beginning to see dams in some parts of the country even drying up, there's no denying the fact that we need to evolve ways of better conserving our water resources. So much of our water still runs off to the oceans. We need to find ways of preserving and conserving them, because we can't be too sure of what tomorrow holds. Water is vital for life. We need it for support to agriculture, and we need it in every daily use.
If the government should take this communique serious, there are key recommendations for the government. And if government should take those recommendations upon in their planning and program, definitely the expectation of these will have been met by encouraging and ensuring that awareness is created and that the government do the needful.
A major issue that is bedeviling access to water, according to most environmentalists, geologists, hydrogeologists, is the fact that there are serious concerns with the proliferation of boreholes across the country and across Nigeria. And that's our package for this week on Environment Watch on Independent Television. We hope you enjoyed it while it lasted. We'll bring you the part 2 of this program next week. Until then, stay blessed and bye for now.